welcome. First of all, welcome. This is Unsolicited Perspectives. I'm your host, Bruce Anthony, here to lead the conversation in important events and topics that are shaping today's society. Join the conversation and follow us wherever you get your audio podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch our video podcast. Rate, review, like, comment, share. Share with your friends, share with your family, hell, even share with your enemies. On today's episode, it's the Sibling Happy Hour. I'm here with my sis, Aundrea. She's going to be talking about her response to what I said about Diddy and then her thoughts about the whole indictment. Then we're going to be talking about Georgia changing the election rules. And then we're going to be talking about body odor. Yes, I'm back on that again. But that's enough of the intro. Let's get to the show. What up, sis?
What up, brother?
I can't call it. Just, I'm going to let you, you gave me a little heads up before we even started filming, being like, hey, how do you want me to respond to this? You gave me two options and I said, go full force.
Yeah.
You know, this is what the audience needs to understand is that growing up in our family, we were always brutally honest. And if you had a position that we didn't agree with, you defend your position, and it may come off as an attack, but it's not meant to be an attack. It's meant to be a well thought out, educated critique. And
Right.
so you have one of those for me, and I am all ears. But before we jumped on here, I just want to let you know that your brother's in a little bit of pain.
Oh, Lord, why?
Because
What'd you do?
I almost threw my god darn back out sneezing.
Yeah. Oh, that's sneezing and coughing. I will pull a muscle in my mid to lower back. Yes.
I don't know what that happened.
Yeah.
Something's going on. It might be my allergies. There's a little frog in my throat. I think my sinuses are draining. So I'm sneezing.
Yeah.
And I sneeze as I was in preparation for getting ready for this show. And then I almost threw my back completely out.
Yeah. I do it all the time. If I
Not all the
cough,
time.
a cough or a sneeze, I dread them because I'm like, I'm gonna pull my right thoracic muscle. If I'm not careful, if I don't try to loosen up first. And then if the cough catches me by surprise, if the sneeze catches me by surprise, I'm pulling that muscle.
Oh.
And now I gotta go lay down.
Yeah, well, my back is hurting right now.
Yeah.
And people don't know, I'm not technically in a chair. I'm in a little stool. So this ain't the most comfortable thing. So
You gotta get a chair. I'm in a chair with a sciatic cushion. Well, I'm not kidding. I am. So you can't just sit on a stool now. That ain't enough.
Well,
We are post 40.
Well, I do it for posture. Plus, I have the wall that's basically behind me, so I don't really need a back to the chair. But I'm in a little bit of pain. So,
You
ladies and
need the
gentlemen,
back to the chair for your back, not the wall.
well, look, you're probably right, but we know I do a lot of dumb things, and this is one of them.
You're sitting on a stool is great for your core, but
it is fantastic for my core.
Yeah, but is it okay for your lower back?
Well, it's not my lower back. It's my mid back. So
okay, is it good for your thoracic spine and musculature?
All right, that's enough of this. And my goddaughter texted me this morning, listening to the last podcast. She was like, "What are you on with this whole stinking thing?" I'm just gonna stay on it in this third segment because it needs to be addressed.
Yeah, and I'll give you guys some context and background, like on young Bruce and his issues with body odor, so that you'll understand why this is such a big deal for him and why he cares so much about this. I will give you all some context that I think is because you're missing it. You don't know where this is coming from. And you're just like, why? Why? Well, I'll tell you. I'll tell you why. So we'll get to that in the third segment.
Okay, but let's go with Diddy and your response to what I said my feelings were.
And so to be clear, first, your position is you're going to listen to the music.
My position is that I feel great shame in listening to the music,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to stop listening to the music because so many memories. It's literally Bad Boy or anything that he's been associated with
Yeah.
is a soundtrack to my life. So unless I could come up with a cognitive way of going back to those memories and erasing that music in the background,
Hmm.
I'm not going to stop listening to the music.
Okay. I just found that disappointing. I mean, we've talked about this before.
Mhm.
So this is not the first time that I've heard that. Yeah, okay, it's a soundtrack to a lot of memories for you. It's also a soundtrack to a lot of memories for the victims as well.
Mhm.
I think if you're feeling shame, you should probably go with that. You should probably lean into that. If you're feeling bad about it, if you're feeling some shame about it, you should probably lean into that. That's your body telling you, that's your conscience telling you that you really don't want to listen to this music. But you feel that for some reason, like the smell of apple pie on a windowsill, that's the only way that you can recall these memories is to listen to this music, which I
No,
feel is
no, that's not what I said.
so then
I s
what exactly is so endearing? Because I'm gonna tell you what it sounds like.
just go with what it sound like. Don't focus on me correcting. Just go with what you
You
heard.
sound like a MAGA supporter
Ooh.
that you could overlook
Mhm.
the truly terrible things that Donald Trump has done and continues to do in order to support or his economic position or your distrust of immigrants or whatever, that you're willing to compromise yourself in that way. You don't sound like an ally to the victims. And I've said this before to you, I don't think that my enjoyment of this music is worth more than the lives that he's ruined. Using this I am making myself complicit. I'm almost making myself an accomplice by continuing to listen to the music when I know he used that business to coerce and intimidate and kidnap and assault and hurt so many men and women. By
So
continuing to support that and continuing to support him. And I understand that while he did have some accomplices in the music industry, for sure, and whether or not that will come out in the indictment as it proceeds remains to be seen. But I don't think this is something you can accomplish on your own just with unlimited funds.
mhm.
I feel like you need people who are willing to be complicit and accomplices in this in order to get this done. And a lot of people. But I'm sure that there are people that he's worked with, that he's produced, that he's managed, that he's represented or collaborated with that have absolutely nothing to do with these freak offs. And it hurts them and their business and their pockets for us to completely divorce ourselves from Diddy and Bad Boy. I understand that.
Okay.
I still don't care. Like, I don't
Okay.
I mean, I understand that, but I can't control that.
Mhm.
I can't control that. I'm sorry. I cannot, in good conscience, continue to support that man or his enterprises. He belongs in prison for the rest of his life. He does he and I'm gonna tell you why I say this before really only the indictment is out. We haven't even seen what's gonna come up in discovery, what kind of evidence they've collected in those raids. I'm saying this honestly off the strength of Cassie Ventura. Because without ever seeing that surveillance tape, because he purchased it for $50,000, she recounted in her civil suit that incident in the hotel of her trying to escape and being beaten with excruciating detail, like it happened yesterday. And his apology was garbage. He's garbage. It led me to believe, honestly, and I don't think that I'm wrong, we need to go ahead and believe these victims. Because what he didn't want, another thing, what he didn't want was for that case with Cassie to enter the discovery period, because that's when she enters in evidence, which is why he settled that in less than 24 hours. Because the next period, once he files his answer, is the discovery period. I'm not an attorney, but my previous job involved litigation. So that's why I know this. Okay. So just on the strength of those two things alone, and his BS apology from some tiki hut, wherever the hell he was, and the desperation and fear of going to jail, so much so this man was willing to offer up his properties, his plane, $50 million, all of his kids' passports, even the baby.
The baby?
He offered up the baby's passport. And they said no. The judge said no. You are a danger to society. There was enough there for the 12 jurors that the prosecution presented their evidence to and say, do we have enough for the indictment? There was enough there for not only for them to say yes, but them to add racketeering and for the judge to say you're a danger to society. This is not somebody I can support.
Okay. I hear everything that you just said. And
I don't think you did.
No. I did. And you're right. And I said in my response to having great shame that I was absolutely being a hypocrite. And I made the comparison to MAGA and Trump supporters and things of that nature. Here's what I'll say. There might be a slight loophole. Whereas MAGA supporters say they think that Trump is going to be better for the economy, and that's the reason why they vote for him, or they feel like their guns are going to be taken away, and that's the reason why they vote for him.
Or they think for some reason he's tough on immigration when he has not shown that in any way, but okay.
He talks a big game, but let's say that these are all the things that they vote for him, ignoring the fact that his policies are going to hurt especially people of color, but by and large, anybody from the working class, middle class, poor class, right? That's directly affecting other people.
Yeah.
I will say, unless he is still collecting money from the music that he produced.
He is.
I don't know that.
It's called royalties. Yes, he is.
But he gave a lot. He gave the rights back and their publishing to all the artists that were on Bad Boy.
You think he's still not collecting royalties on that?
I think the reason why he gave away the publishing for Bad Boy is because he milked all the money out of it that he possibly could and said, there's really nothing else to milk out of this, and here you guys go.
Or that person has become no longer useful to him, or he's already got them on tape doing something compromising, so he doesn't need their publishing to hold over their head anymore.
Okay, so
it could be a myriad of reasons.
There are some loopholes. One of my friends who was in agreement with me, and we understand that we're being hypocrites, right? Like, we absolutely understand that we're being hypocrites. We don't want to give up the music. And he was like, well, maybe, if he's still making money off of the music, it could be diverted to domestic abuse or something like that. That way we could still listen to the music, because we don't want to give up. It's like I said, people always have their pressure points, right? It wasn't a big deal for me to give up R. Kelly music. I wasn't that big of an R. Kelly fan. This hits different. The reason why I don't watch the Michael Jackson documentaries are I don't think it's true, but is it? I don't think it's true, or because I don't want to believe it's true, because I don't want that music taken away. It'd be like if this came out, if Diddy was Prince, if Prince had done everything that Diddy had done, would you really be able to give up Prince music?
Absolutely.
You are more principled in a lot of ways than I am when it comes to this. I have strong issues and principles about other things, and I hear everything that you're saying. It's coming off that I am not being, what's the right word? Empathetic to the victims. It is coming off as that. I don't want it to come off like that. I am empathetic to the victims. I do believe that he deserves to be in jail, under the jail. I just don't want to give up the music. And I know that's hypocritical. And I know that's disappointing. We all have things about us that's disappointing, right? Like, I know. I'm disappointed in myself. I wish I could let it go. And I also said that maybe the shame will become so great that I won't be able to listen to music. And I have to be honest, that's not true. I listened to Jodeci not too long ago. But like if I hear a song and I hear his voice, bad boy, like something comes over me and I don't listen to it the whole way through, or I cut it off at that point. Like I may get to that point where I'm not going to be able to listen to the music, but he is wrapped up in so much. He's either been a manager, producer, executive producer to just about any and everybody that has done music over the last 30 years.
Yeah.
You're going to not listen to 8 Ball and MJG because he was their manager. You're going to not listen to Rick Ross because he was his manager.
Instead of being in awe of that, realize that he amassed this empire.
Yeah.
And what he used it for. What he used his connections to other people and the trust that they put into him to take their careers to the next level or whatever he promised them, only for him to manipulate and abuse that and put, we don't know how many people, how many tapes that they recovered, where he put how many people in compromising positions so that they were beholden to him.
Yeah.
If they ever wanted any shot of accomplishing what was their dream is now quickly becoming a nightmare. And when I hear his voice come over the speaker, somebody plays some bad boy, I hear those victims. I don't hear him. And no, so I cannot enjoy it. And I think what you're going to find is if you keep looking for loopholes, you can find them. But do you want to turn into the kind of person that's looking for loopholes?
I think everybody looks for loopholes for certain things in their life.
Do you want to turn into the kind of person who looks for loopholes?
I think aren't I already that person?
Do you want
to continue to be the person?
To become the type of person who's always looking for loopholes?
I hear everything you're saying. I don't have an answer. I don't want to. No, I don't want to.
I'm not saying that this is not a complicated situation. I'm not saying that this is not a difficult situation for the public to wrap their minds around because of who he became to so many people, especially people in the Black community in America.
See, I don't care about him as a person. It's not about him as a person.
Yeah.
I'm not an admirer of Sean Combs. Never have. I've always thought he's been, I don't use the word weird. I think there's an extreme negative connotation with weird and it's dismissive. I'm going to say that before all this stuff came out, he was a unique character that wasn't my type of flavor on a personal level. Like there was never a time where I was like, man, I bet Puffy would be cool to have dinner with. No, there was never a time of that.
Yeah.
And for the most part, his solo stuff, I never really was a fan of it. It's just what it's all the stuff that he's associated with.
Yeah.
he's associated with so much. And then we start to have a problem as more and more people, more and more artists, what have you, filmmakers, directors, studio heads, singers, writers, actors, all the artists out there, all the stuff where we enjoy their artwork. A lot of them stuff is coming out and it's very problematic.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people say, well, let's separate the art from the artist. And sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. I don't know if it's morally, I don't know what the right answer is, but things keep coming out. We're not gonna have no TV shows that we can watch, any movies that we can watch. There's
Yeah, I mean, think about the reach of the Weinstein Company.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. So where do we draw that line of still enjoying the art, but not supporting the people that are problematic? That's where I'm finding it very, very difficult. And that's the reason
That's
why
the line. He's not problematic.
You're right. That was
He's a predator. If there's people who are problematic, it's a case by case basis, right?
So if we're going on a case by case basis,
he's not problematic.
No, he's a predator. But should Devontae Swing and JoJo and KC and Mr. Dalvin be punished?
We don't know anybody's involvement in this.
I'm just saying that he executive produced them. Puffy is a part of that music.
Yes.
So if I say that I'm not paying it, if I'm not rocking with anything that he's been associated with, that means I got to cut out Jodeci.
Because again, he had accomplices. I think it would be ridiculous to assume that he didn't. I don't know who those accomplices are.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what happened. Because a RICO case, typically there's multiple defendants.
Yes.
It's not one defendant because it's a racketeering and criminal organization case.
It's racketeering, conspiracy, and I believe sexual assault.
What are you talking about? What RICO stands for?
The charges that there was 3 charges. So conspiracy,
sex trafficking, and prostitution across state lines.
But there was racketeering and conspiracy. So that leads me to you can't conspire with yourself.
But he's the only defendant. You know what that means?
Right now.
No. You know what that means? There are 50 witnesses in this indictment. Mm-hmm. The co-conspirators have already turned on him. That's the reason why he's the lone defendant. So the people that are responsible for helping him and that helped him turned on him. That's the reason why this indictment is so strong. And the reason why the judge was like, nah, you already have a history of intimidating witnesses and people that you've wronged. In this last 6 months, no way you're getting out of jail. There's nothing that you could do. He's all alone because all of his accomplices have already turned.
Yes.
They've already...
Not all. Enough.
Look,
enough of them. 50 of them. It was enough of them.
Well, these were witnesses. Some
are witnesses, but not all. I refuse to believe all.
Well,
I think likely, but the names they have not been released. I don't know who's involved. Muhammad Ali made this great analogy in regards to racism, but I think it applies here too. He said, what if there were 1,000 snakes and they were coming at me and I had a door that I could shut? 10 of those snakes wanted to protect me. 10 of them didn't want to bite me. Should I let all the snakes in, hoping them 10 band together and protect me, or should I close the door and keep all of them out? Because my mother didn't raise no fool. Something like that. Okay. And I think it applies here too. I don't know how far this goes. We have no idea the reach of his criminal activity. Until I know the reach of his criminal activity and who was involved, who was not involved, I don't think that we'll ever truly know the full list of people over time, because a lot of people are dead.
Oh, well, yeah, that's true.
It's kind of weird how many people around him have died.
Well, It's pretty clear by this indictment that he's a mob boss.
Clearly. But for his own, just for his own personal gain. Like it's not to benefit the quote unquote family, the bad boy family, right? It's
Well,
not to be
it's
it
never
wasn't for
really true. When the mafia and the
uh,
mob is always for the boss. It's never
yes.
really benefit the family.
Right. So that's, I mean, I don't really have much to say as far as like him. He belongs in prison for the rest of his life, and to have his entire empire dismantled, and he deserves to be forgotten. That's that, and I think that's probably the greatest punishment that you can give him, is that he deserves to be forgotten.
I don't
Um,
I don't agree with that. I don't think he deserves to be forgotten.
I
I
absolutely,
believe that he deserves to live in infamy. That this should be a story for
I
people to learn and to watch out for certain things so that this doesn't happen again.
yeah. So let me amend that. The persona that he wanted us to believe
Right. Yeah.
deserves to be forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, you do what your conscience tells you. I think your conscience is telling you something, and I'm thinking that you are trying every way imaginable to ignore what it's telling you. Good luck with that.
I'm gonna be all right. I'm gonna figure out a way to deal with this, and who knows, my morals. Like I said, my morals. I the reason why I'm tongue tied, ladies and gentlemen, is because this is very, very complicated for me. I know listening to the music is wrong, and technically, aside from Jodeci, I haven't really listened to anything that he's been associated with. But giving up Jodeci, whew, giving up Biggie, right? Biggie don't have nothing to do with this, but giving that up, whew.
Biggie was also a problematic character. I would say Biggie was problematic.
Yes. Well,
I mean,
yeah.
he was also a criminal.
Well, I mean, just because he sold drugs to the community?
No, because he was a frequent abuser of women.
Okay, yeah, that is true. Yeah. I can forgive the selling drugs to the community. I can't forgive abusing women.
Right.
But he still made great music. On that note, as I'm disappointing my sister, I'm going to unclench my butt cheeks after she tore into me. And we're going to decide to divert our attention to the Georgia Election Board.
That we can all get behind on disparaging.
We're going to get into that next. Okay, Jay, your state is tripping again.
Yeah.
Let's give people a little bit of the background. Georgia has instituted new election rules. Mm-hmm. Georgia's new election rules require that poll workers to count paper ballots by hand. Earlier this week, Georgia State Election Board approved a new rule that requires the ballots to be counted by hand 3 times before the result is declared. 3 of the Republicans on the board used their majority to create more rules that take effect for this upcoming election, including expanding county election board powers to investigate vote tallies before certifying. How bad could this be? It could lead to a delaying of the results. Ari Berman, a national voting rights correspondent at Mother Jones, stated on MSNBC that, so what would happen is that Georgia would not certify its electoral college votes in time. No candidate would get a majority in the electoral college. As a result, that would then throw the election to the House of Representatives. What would happen is the House would vote, but it wouldn't be the majority of the members of the House voting. It would be the majority of state delegations where Republicans hold an advantage. That's really the nightmare scenario. You could have a presidential candidate who loses the popular vote, who does not win the majority of the electoral college, but who could be selected by House Republicans who didn't even represent a majority of that body. If the presidential election gets thrown to the House of Representatives because of GOP shenanigans, a majority of state House delegations, not majority of members, pick the winners. That means Dems could retake the House, but Republicans still pick Trump because of gerrymandering and overrepresentation in smaller rural states. Once again, that's by Ari Berman of voting rights corresponding at Mother Jones. So I'll get into the lawsuits later and what the state of Georgia is doing. But Jay, what's going on in your state?
Another concerted effort to not certify the results of the election.
Yeah.
They decided to do a preemptive strike as opposed to waiting until after the election to try to fight. Like let's start early. What a dumb ass thing to institute, because there are machines. I mean, you got to understand, most of our poll workers are volunteer senior citizens. Those machines are going to be more accurate in that count. then somebody got to put their glasses on. Okay. And like, can't find the glasses. Like, the amount of money it's going to cost taxpayers to train poll workers, to hire and train the poll workers to do this, the amount of time it's going to delay our election results, because you're asking people to count multiple times. And you got a bunch of shucking and jiving.
Not shucking and jiving. not shucking and jiving.
And ask people like, oh God, what was her name? Janice Johnston. Oh God. Yeah, Janice Johnston. She was one. But there's a Black lady that was also one of the supporters of this. I can't remember her name at this moment, which is good, because to hell with her. But but yeah, I mean, it's weird that they're kind of sneaking this in under the gun a little bit. We have less than 50 days until the election, and y'all are kind of sliding this in, at the 10th hour. Yeah, it's just another in a long line of strategies down here in Georgia to not just deny people the right to vote, but to change. They are already preparing for the possibility of her winning the state, which is it a strong possibility? No, but there's a chance. And this is them preparing for that. This is them preparing to disenfranchise people.
So this is a continuous situation. This is a continuation of election deniers.
Yes.
Right? This is a continuation of people saying that Joe Biden didn't win the state of Georgia and that there was voting irregularities. When Brian Kemp, the Secretary of State, former Lieutenant Governor, all Republicans, all said, no, there were no irregularities. You lost. You lost the election. But he's been screaming and yelling. And I think, one, I'm pretty sure that he knows that he lost the election. The people that are election deniers, except for those people that are really, really far off, most of the election deniers are smart enough to know he lost the election. They are purposely doing this because they want to win at all costs, which has kind of been like a Republican brand to win at all costs. There are theories. I'm not saying that this is true. There are theories that state that when Ronald Reagan was running against Jimmy Carter and the hostages was taken, that Reagan's team through back channels were making sure that the hostages wouldn't be released because that would benefit him to win the election. Like I said, these are just theories. This is just hearsay, but it's kind of on brand when you think about some of the things that Republicans have done throughout history to win elections. So it's not a matter of democracy, because democracy is everybody's vote should be counted. Republicans are systematically, since Reconstruction, systematically trying to take away votes from people so that they maintain control. I know a lot of people are going to be saying, well, it wasn't Republicans, it was Democrats. Yes, you're right. But those Democrats during Reconstruction that were trying to take away the votes, specifically from Black people, joined the Republican Party in the 60s. So this is the birth of what those Democrats are now Republicans. Like, that's how that got there. So stop getting on the name, right, by saying that, oh, those were Democrats. Yes, they were. They're now Republicans. That's kind of how that happens.
And that's been well-trodden territory. Stop bringing that up. For the people who use that.
Lincoln was Republican. He freed the slaves. Yeah, he wasn't.
Republican. Good and hell well.
Yeah, he wasn't y'all.
That given the same choice, you wouldn't do so.
Right. Exactly. So this is just a continuation of them trying to maintain power. Here's the good news, that even though they're trying to use this, there's already a lawsuit. So the state and national Democratic parties have filed a lawsuit arguing that these rules violate state law, which mandates that certification is a mandatory duty. So they're trying to prolong the certification so that it gets pushed to the House of Representatives and everybody's votes don't matter, right? Georgia's hand counting rule could still be struck down in court, with both Georgia's Republican Attorney General Chris Carr and Secretary of State Brad Roethlisberger saying that it is unlikely to survive a legal challenge. Why are Republicans doing this? Pro-Trump Republicans argue that the rules are meant to increase transparency and public confidence in elections. There's always been transparency, and we have complete confidence in the elections. Y'all lost.
You lost.
Brian Kemp didn't lose.
No.
Brian Roethlisberger didn't lose.
No.
Republicans won statewide. They lost. Donald Trump lost. So, hey, that is what it is. Luckily, it doesn't look like this is going to stick. However, this is just another example of Republicans not playing by the rule and them actually trying to rig the election.
Yeah, I meant Janelle King's.
Oh, what's up with Janelle King's?
Trash. Just a Black conservative, honestly, talk show host, and she was appointed to she's the third person that was appointed to the Board of Elections. And is in favor of the hand counting and all of that. She's trash.
They literally want to count by hand. This is crazy. It is absolutely crazy. Hey, Republicans, they're not having a good week. Just to do a detour, did you hear about what was going on with Mark Robinson, the guy that's running for governor in North Carolina?
Oh boy. I was hoping we would talk about that.
Let's jump on that for a quick second.
Listen, and I've noticed an increasing trend in this election. And he's just the next name in a long list of brothers. Are y'all okay?
Okay. All right. Break it down for me.
Are y'all okay?
I don't know. I'm still listening to Puffy, so I'm probably not.
What is happening? Y'all are so lost. This man was on Naked Africa porn forums talking about he is a Black Nazi, that he wishes slavery would come back, as if he wouldn't himself be a slave. He said, I'd like to own some. Sir, let me assure you today, you wouldn't be owning nothing.
Not a thing.
You would be 12 years a slave.
That's not 12 years a slave.
Plus the rest of your life. No, honestly, 12 years, because this man ain't in the best shape, and I'm assuming a couple days in the sun is going to take his ass out. Are y'all all right? Do y'all hate the idea of a Black woman running this country so much that you are willing to align yourself with white supremacy?
Well, it looks like he's always aligned himself with white supremacy.
Yeah, there's some
this
of
wasn't
this
recent.
That's been in the sunken place, and they ain't coming back out.
This
and he is
man,
one.
they dug up stuff and they drew all this. They did such great work, great
It was
technological investigation.
It's not really. I used to do it all the time in my former job. It is a program. It is a company that will scrub your social media using just cursory. It costs you $59.99 to do this.
Well, I guess
And
Black
they will
Planet.
find information on you. There is nothing that if you've done it on the internet, it can be found. It does not matter what it is, how long ago it was. There is a record of it somewhere, and it is very easy for people to find it. All they did was look up his email address that he uses still
And
to
his
this day.
usernames. And his
And his
usernames. They
usernames.
found his stuff from Black Planet, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
If y'all don't know what Black Planet was, it was a social media site for Black people that I say it went defunct
Yeah.
maybe 10 years ago, but it was popular 20 years ago.
Yeah.
They found all his stuff from Black Planet. And the funny thing is he's trying to deny it. I guess at this point you got to deny it.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do.
I mean, yeah, you got
because he refused to drop out of the race.
They was trying to get him to it. They was trying. All the Republicans was like, "Hey, look, we need you to go ahead and drop out the race." This is just a Democratic conspiracy. No, bro, you did this.
Yes,
they got it time stamped.
And there's a profile picture. What a stupid idiot! And I'm gonna tell you something, fellas. A lot of y'all, I posted this, but I need to say it as well. A lot of y'all need to journal. A lot of y'all need to just journal because y'all gonna get caught on technology. Y'all gonna keep getting caught on technology. Y'all need to go. Some of y'all need to go analog.
Just have a Dear Diary.
Just have a did with the little lock on it, and you put the little key on the chain around your neck, and you just wear it. And
not the chain around your neck.
Okay, just like preteen girls do. Y'all need to go ahead and just get you a diary to keep this stuff in and keep this to yourself. Keep it to yourself.
I find it. I understand why people ride. Why people are saying I'm a Democrat and I'm a Republican. People ride for what they represent.
Yes.
Right. Like, I mean, it's no different than people chanting USA. It's no different than you loving your favorite sports team. It's no different than gangs.
Yeah.
Right. It's you rocking your brand.
But at a certain, or cults.
But at a certain point, you got to exit the party. When you have stark conservatives, like the former lieutenant governor of Georgia, what's his name? He's a CNN commentator all the time. I see him on there all the time. The former lieutenant governor for Georgia.
I don't know.
All right, it'll come to us. But even he has been like, look.
He's usually on what, CNN?
Yeah, he's always on CNN now. Even he has come out and said,
Jeff Duncan?
Hey, yes, that's his name.
Okay.
Even he has come out and been like, I'm voting for Madam Vice President Harris. That's what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been a Republican. I'm still a conservative, but I'm going to vote for democracy. And I talk to people, and once again, I can't be hypocritical, as we said in the previous segment. You know, I'm having trouble getting rid of rocking with Diddy, so I kind of understand how at a certain point people
I think you want to rephrase that.
What did I say?
You said rocking with Diddy. Let's say rocking with Diddy's music.
Rocking with Diddy's music.
Because
if they were listening to the episode, they know exactly what the hell I meant.
You never know, because sometimes the clips, they'll pull clips. And
I produce the clips.
Okay.
I produce the clips.
Okay.
I
don't want people to take that sound bite and run with it.
I produce the clips. So if I clip it and then that goes viral because of my idiotic producing, then that's on me.
Okay.
That's on me. But the people listen to the show knowing I'm talking about the music, not Diddy.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, even with Republicans, you got to be like, well, wait a minute now. Yeah. If we say we're for democracy, we gotta actually be for democracy.
Right.
And some of them are turning. Some of them are not. Some of them are staying true. Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you right now, if you're a friend of mine and you listening to this show or watching this show, if we haven't had the conversations, I purposely haven't had the conversations with you. But I can guarantee you, if you vote for Trump, we ain't friends. Don't talk to me like that no more. Don't call me to hang out. No, nothing like that. I let it slip. I let it pass the first go around. I didn't really let it slip the second go around. People
Not
just stopped
me.
telling me.
The way I unfollow and block people I've known for years, after he won that first time and they felt comfortable finally talking about how they supported him and stuff. And I said, oh, you was quiet this whole time, but block, delete.
No, I didn't turn on people the first time around.
I didn't turn on them. I turned them off.
Well,
I turned it off.
You have sometimes stronger principles than I do. However, when it comes to money now, you will do certain things for a low amount of money that I wouldn't do for billions of dollars. So we have principles for different things. We've already had this conversation. And if y'all want to know, tune into the After Hours Uncensored. We'll talk about it.
All right.
Talk about it. But I mean, either Republicans are trying to stick. And I say Republicans, I try to not be generalized, but this is the Republican Party. So if you're a Republican and you're saying that's not me, take the analogy that my sister used with the snakes and Muhammad Ali. Yeah, okay, but you're still a Republican. So just putting it out here. This is what the Republican Party is doing. I'm not going to
put myself in danger by letting you in the room.
Either they're trying to manipulate the election or they're not standing on business. Actually, both. At a certain point, you got to stand on business.
Yeah, I think the craziest thing about Mark Robinson is either he wasn't vetted or he was vetted and they either didn't care about what they found or he wasn't vetted well enough to have found this. Like, I feel like CNN did just a cursory social media search.
Well, no, it wasn't CNN. It was another investigative body that did it, and CNN brought it to light. Yeah,
okay,
yeah, it was another investigative.
I feel though that was the history of Mark Robinson.
The history of Mark Robinson was he has never held political office until lieutenant governor. He was like a social media person. That's how he gained popularity. So he's been in existence. What? How long is the lieutenant governorship? Like 2, 3, 4 years. The Democrats should have definitely done some opposition, but they probably was like, he's losing the election. Like he's so far in the polls that he's losing the election. They was probably like, we don't even need to release this stuff. Or maybe they did know about it and they released it right at the perfect time. Because one thing that Mark Robinson has been getting a lot of support from, one person, is Donald J. Trump. And this really does not look good for him.
No.
At all.
Not at all.
So this could have been strategic. I don't know. I don't believe Democrats are that crafty. They don't play dirty like that. So I just think that this was poor investigative work when he first started running.
I think it was funny. First of all, JD Vance in general is a joke, but I just thought it was funny because he was interviewed, I want to say by NBC News, and the reporter asked, do you believe Mark Robinson that those were not his posts? And JD says, I don't not believe him. That's the...
I didn't hear that. That's the first time I'm hearing that. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my reaction. You heard that real and in the moment. That was my real reaction. Wow. I don't not wow.
Like it's literally the most mid and like, are you kidding? I don't not believe him. That means nothing.
Wow. Basically,
JD Vance is so useless. I don't know why they keep sending him on the Sunday shows. I don't know why they keep putting him out there. If anybody needs to be held back the way they say that Madam Harris was held back, no, she had less than 100 days to get an entire presidential campaign together. Homegirl was busy. Okay. But they need to start holding JD Vance back because he is making gaffe after gaffe after gaffe because he's an imbecile.
So basically, ladies and gentlemen, this whole segment, yeah, we were bashing Republicans, but I got bashed in the first segment. So, I mean, I guess
It
it's
evens
all
out.
fair. Yeah, it's all fair.
Yeah.
But up next, we're going to bash everybody who stank. We're going to get into that next. All right, Jay, you wanted to give everybody some context of why body odor is such a big deal to me.
Yeah.
Because I guess I haven't given it to the people. I thought I did, but maybe I didn't. So go ahead and give them the background of why I'm obsessed with body odor.
I honestly don't know where this is coming from. I do know that you have exhibited extreme behavior when it comes to even the perception that you don't smell good. I remember in high school, you went to go get some food or something like that, and somebody in school said you smelled like that food.
Okay, so that's not the story.
What happened?
Okay, this is a story.
All I know is you left school
Yes.
in the middle of your school day to come home, shower, and then go back to school.
All right, it all starts in 6th grade. In 6th grade, I would take showers, I guess, at night. You know, you're a little boy. Little boys take a little while
Little
when
boys
they
are
want.
disgusting.
Yeah, little boys take a little while to like start taking care of themselves with their hygiene. So you go from 5th grade to 6th grade, and it's a shell shock, right? Because you're a little kid, and then you're with people who are about to enter in high school. So
Yeah.
that's a weird, middle school is a weird thing. And then your body starts changing. You start getting hitting puberty, and you start getting funky. Little girl told me that I smelled one day. So from that point on, I took showers the morning that I had to get ready for school. If I wasn't able to take a shower the morning before, I took a shower the night before and put baby powder all over my body so that I wouldn't sweat in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
All because of this one person. Now, the story that you're referring to, it was senior year of high school, and my 2 friends who were neighbors, we were on the bus to go to school, and they knew about my obsession with not smelling.
Yes.
Right? Because that's what it is. It's not an obsession with smelling good. It's an obsession with not smelling. And in the process, you make sure that you smell good so that you don't smell.
Yes.
And on the bus ride, they said, "You stink." And I said, "What? What are you talking about?" They were like, "That lo mein is coming out your pores," because I used to eat lo mein all the time. Chinese food, lo mein all the time. Still do.
Yes.
Right? They said, "That lo mein is coming out your pores because you stink. You smell like lo mein." I said, "I do?" They said, "Yep." So I got off the bus, dropped us off at school. I got off the bus and walked my butt back home. Now, here's the funny thing. They were joking with me.
Yeah.
They
and we
stopped by the
live
house.
3 miles from the school.
Didn't matter. And it was wintertime. It did not matter. I was not going to be at school where they said that I was funky. Now, they said they came to the house after school and said, "I can't believe that you really went home." I was like, "Yeah, y'all told me that I was stinking. I wasn't going to stink." I came home and took another shower because I took a shower that morning. It was like, "Bruce, we were joking with you." I was like, "Well, don't joke with me like that."
Yeah.
So that's where all this comes from. But I sent out a little questionnaire. Hey, if you had the choice between never walking again or you can walk again, but you stink all to be damned, the worst smelling person in the world, what would you do? And overwhelmingly, there were cultural differences in the responses.
Yes. Yeah. I would think
People
so.
of color were like, "Well, I guess I'll just be in a wheelchair."
Mm-hmm.
Overwhelming majority. There was a few people that was just like, that were specifically men that were just like, "Well, wait a minute, does my thing work? Because if my thing don't work, then I'll just be stinky."
Yeah.
My response to that is, it don't matter if your thing work, you're gonna be stinky, don't nobody want to mess with you.
Ain't nobody gonna get with you.
Yeah.
No.
And white people were just like, "Well, no, I'll just be smelly. I would rather walk." And so I was like, "No, this is crazy. This is a
It's not that crazy. You got to think, especially if you were getting most of the responses from Americans, that tracks because Black people in this country have a history of being perceived as dirty, even though I don't understand where that comes from because we're incredibly hygienic. We taught white people how to bathe. Like,
Well, that may have came from the fact that we just didn't have the resources to actually like bathe consistently. We're talking about the 1800s. That's where that probably comes from.
We were always pretty hygienic. It was about dehumanizing us.
Yeah.
We were always hygienic. So, you know, when you have that perception in order to dehumanize you, then it becomes that much more important to kind of fight against that stigma. So we always want to have our children be neat. And like that was always a real big thing with our mom, that we were always clean and neat. You know, my hair was always done. Our clothes were always clean. Like we were getting, you know, shoes from the grocery store. No, we weren't.
No,
she took us she took us to Stride Right. We used to go to Stride Right.
I don't even remember. I don't even know that store.
Yeah, that was where we used to get our shoes. But you know, our clothes are from Kmart, but
that changed after elementary school.
But you know, we were all, you know, mom herself shopped at the $7 store for her clothes, but we were always clean and neat. And that was always, that's kind of been, you see a little bit of us growing away from that. Cause sometimes I'll be seeing these kids outside and I'll be like, where is your parents? Cause why, what?
Is that not being clean and neat, or that's just taking, because we've always worn wild clothes, right? I guess being neat wasn't the 44 size jeans that I was wearing in 1994.
I'm seeing kids, their hair not brushed and their shirts are dirty. Like we didn't grow up like that.
Well, distressed shirts are kind of in style.
No, their shirts are dirty. Like I can tell that's a little bit of, that was popsicle at one point. And now it's all over your shirt. Why? First of all, if we got popsicles, sit down and eat your popsicle.
Right.
It's like, it wasn't go run all over the place, get popsicle all over your shirt, you know. But I'm not a parent myself, and I know parenting, but I know parenting is hard. So sometimes your kid got popsicle on their shirt, and that's all right. It's okay. We're not operating under that stigma anymore, y'all. Sometimes let these kids be messy and dirty. I get that.
Yeah, because you routinely had a Kool-Aid mustache. You always had a Kool-Aid mustache.
Routinely. I don't know why I tipped the cup up so far. It didn't need to be tipped up so that the juice was coming over my top lip, but it was. And that's the way I drank it. And I always have a little red Kool-Aid mustache.
Always.
So, I mean, you know, you live how you live. But yeah, I definitely think, especially if you're getting responses. And then if some of the responses are not from Americans, they're just different olfactory standards in different countries. Like, you know, we use antiperspirant and deodorant here. There are places where they do not use that. And I am in classes with a lot of international students, and I see it and I smell it. But for them, just normal bodily smells are not as offensive as they are in places like the US, where we will find it highly offensive
Some people find it highly
strongly in any direction. Like, I can't stand when people bathe themselves in cologne, and
like
now we're trapped. Yes, and now we're trapped on this elevator. My eyes are watering, my nose is burning because you put on way too much cologne. So
you used to hate it when I was getting ready to go out. You'd be like, why you put on so much cologne?
Whole bathroom and outside of the bathroom, like that whole radius, would smell so strongly of your cologne, and it was too much. If you can smell your cologne, you've put too much on.
Well, that was the problem. I couldn't smell it.
That's the point.
That was because my nose was
blind. Well, your nose is stopped up, but also you're supposed to be kind of nose blind to your own smell. When you smell yourself, you stink.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And it's already gone past the point of no return. Like other people smell you. Like there's no way if it gets to the point where when we're typically nose blind to our own scent, that you smell yourself, it's too late. It's already too late.
And where did black people come up with the universal term when somebody stink to either be stank or funky?
And it's musty also. Musty is a good one.
Musty is specific.
Musty is you smell like outside. Like
No, that's not musty. That's
underarms.
outside. Yeah, musty is underarms.
Yeah, musty is specific to your underarms. Yes.
Outside.
If you stink, that's your undercarriage.
And smelling like outside isn't necessarily stank.
Yes, it is. You smell like sweat and grass.
Right. But that's not. Sometimes that's not the person's fault. There's especially during these
you
summers.
just mowed the lawns or something
no.
like
I'm talking
that.
about even if you just. I remember hanging out with my bestie, and this was the hottest summer. Well, because every summer is getting ready to be the hottest summer there ever was. But this summer was ridiculous.
Yeah.
We would go outside and immediately start sweating, and I was like, I know we smell like outside. And outside is just sweat. But I know we smell like outside. We had no control over it.
I smell like outside is sweat and grass because they usually rolling around in some grass and they just smell like kid sweat and grass. And you smell like outside, you need to get in the tub. Like you need to get in the tub. You heard those words repeatedly through your childhood. So you need to get in the tub. Like that's the point. But now as an adult, I'd be like, oh, I need to get in the tub.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, that's the reason why I'm in the tub twice a day, sometimes three times a day in the summer.
And nobody's even taking a bath. Everybody's taking showers, but like, still, you need to get in the tub.
Yeah, that's just universal. You need to get in the tub as meaning as you need to wash your ass.
Yeah, but I definitely think this kind of, olfactory sensitivity is an American thing.
Well, also, yes, it's American, but also there's cultural divides in America.
Right.
Just, when you have people that get on their podcast and they talk about they don't wash their hands after they go to the bathroom.
Right. That's strange. Like, especially in a public restroom. You're touching things in a public restroom and you're not washing your hands.
I'm on a bit of the extreme side, but I take the bus and I take the metro all around.
Yeah.
I purposely try to not touch the rails or anything in these, but sometimes you don't have no choice. And immediately I make a mental note, wherever I get to, when I'm getting to, wash your hands.
Right.
Before I eat anything, and once again, I'm obsessive. It's almost OCD. Before I eat anything, I'm washing my hands. If I'm like, wait a minute, did I wash my hands? Because it becomes so routine, I'm like, well, since I can't remember if I washed my hands or not, let me go wash my hands again.
Yeah.
People, do y'all realize that you just eating, if you don't wash your hands after you go to the bathroom and you at a restaurant, you eating poop.
Yeah. Imagine if the people making your food held that same view of, I don't need to wash my hands. You get Typhoid Mary. That's what you get. And Typhoid Mary.
COVID, this is the reason why COVID is still around.
No, Typhoid Mary was cooking in these people's houses and not washing her hands when she went to the bathroom and giving everyone typhoid and killing bugs. They quarantine her they prosecute her, and she's still under different names, goes back into people's houses and still cooking and not washing her hands and spreading typhoid. And it turns out she's immune to typhoid. But she giving it to everybody else. That's crazy.
Basically, ladies and gentlemen, don't be funky. Don't be musty. Musty is worse than funky to me because that's a strong, burning smell when you musty. Your underarm shouldn't stink.
My position is sometimes you stink.
Sometimes it's okay to stink in the comfort of your own home, just not around other people.
I think stink is in the nose of the beholder. I think it's important for your hygiene to bathe regularly and properly. But I think people's definition of what funky is just Like for me, like I said, I don't care that you could have the best smelling cologne. If you put too much of it on,
Yeah.
get away from me.
Yeah.
You
Basically,
stink.
anything that burns your nose.
Yeah, you stink.
If your nose burning, get away from me.
Yeah. You know what else makes my nose burn? Onions. You smelling like onions?
Because sometimes people smell like
Because sometimes you smell like onions.
and not because you've been cooking them.
That's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt my nose.
If you smell like onions, you need to jump in the tub and stay in the tub. Jay, what do you want to tell these people out here?
Man, listen, you gotta vote. And the reason why you gotta vote is you can see it down here in Georgia. They will play with your vote.
Mm.
And so you have to make sure that the people handling, even at the state and local level, are people that really represent you and your interests. You got to get out and vote. And you got to get out and vote down ballot and get to know these people and their positions and their platforms, because let me tell you, they will get out here and they will work actively against your best interests and to deny you your rights. So voting has become more important than ever. And I feel like every voting cycle is going to be more important than ever because this country is in hell right now. Even though I'm trying not to sound like Trump and his, doomsday, thinking, trying to have some hope. But boy, oh boy, if we get another Trump presidency, we're in trouble. So please get out there, exercise your right to vote. And if you find in your state that they are, trying to do a little underhanded stuff, contact attorneys and see what kind of legal standing you have to make court challenges to these things. And support the people out here that are doing that kind of work.
I said it better myself. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And until next time, as always, I'll holler. Whew, that was a hell of a show. Thank you for rocking with us here on Unsolicited Perspectives with Bruce Anthony. Now, before you go, don't forget to follow, subscribe, like, comment, and share our podcast wherever you're listening or watching it to it. Pass it along to your friends. If you enjoy it, that means the people that you rock with will enjoy it also. So share the wealth, share the knowledge, share the noise. And for all those people that say, well, I don't have a YouTube. If you have a Gmail account, you have a YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can actually watch our video podcast. But the real party is on our Patreon page, After Hours Uncensored and Talking Straight-ish. After Hours Uncensored is another show with my sister. And once again, the key word there is uncensored. Those are exclusively on our Patreon page. Jump onto our website at unsolicitedperspectives.com for all things us. That's where you can get all of our audio, video, our blogs, and even buy our merch. And if you're really feeling generous and want to help us out, you can donate on our donations page. Donations go strictly to improving our software and hardware so we can keep giving you guys good content that you can clearly listen to and that you can clearly see. So any donation would be appreciative. Most importantly, I want to say thank you for listening and watching and supporting us. And I'll catch you next time. Audi 5000. Peace.